We can start whenever.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I mean, we've started already.
Oh, we are 5 seconds in. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Okay, I'm back. Condo Conversations with me and Miss Valerie Terry.
Hi.
I wish I had like a clapper track.
I know. We could do it.
Okay, so oddly enough, I know Valerie through her husband, who I went to elementary school with, and I have known him obviously forever. And then all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh my God, your girlfriend is beautiful! Like she is gorgeous. Is she from here?
Right.
So are you from here?"
So unfortunately, yeah. But I guess on the sunny side of Indiana,
Okay.
I was born here in Louisville. So I spent like my younger years, and I moved to Memphis, Tennessee for a little bit. My mom's a blues and jazz singer.
Oh,
So I moved there
can you
with
sing?
her. A little bit. I do
Me.
Right.
Go reg me.
Antoine, my husband, he'll usually drop me off at a Kiko's on weekends sometimes, and that's where I spend.
Do you run into my brother?
I've never run into him there, but
Because he lives there. Or Taj.
no, I have
Because
not
he
run
loves
into-
some karaoke.
I love karaoke too. But I moved back here. My dad lives in Clarksville, and so I went to Clarksville Middle School in high school.
Shout out to Southern Indiana.
And then I went to college in Chicago. So
Where did you go to school?
Columbia College. Yes, have a bachelor's in broadcast journalism.
Can you believe that we both studied it? We knew that.
Yeah, we did.
I knew that. Surprise over. Let me bring it back. Sorry. That's right. So tell everybody who you are and what you do in Louisville. Or what you do, period.
I'm Valerie Terry. I feel like I'm like not looking at the right. I need to look
Right there.
Okay. I'm Valerie Terry. I actually have my own business. I manage a couple of social media pages for
Out
businesses.
there doing it.
Trying. I wear many hats, but that is my thing. So I do PR, marketing, social media, the whole nine.
So how did you get involved in that?
So there's this lovely boutique inside the Butchertown Market called Work the Metal.
Work the metal.
Yes. Okay. All right, Aaliyah. And I worked at a marketing firm inside of the Butchertown Market.
Oh,
and so
okay.
every lunch break, I would spend my entire paycheck at Work the Metal. I'd be in there for hours.
Buying trinkets all day.
Yes. Trinkets, jewelry. I mean, they have the best julry.
Yeah,
the
they do.
best
That's
jewelry.
True. That's true.
So I would just be in there buying whatever. And I struck a great friendship with the owner. Both the owners, actually. And I would work there on the weekends. Like, he was like, hey, you should come work on the weekends.
Like
I'm
as an
cool.
associate?
Yeah, just like behind the register, just for some extra, cash. And I left the marketing agency, became a paralegal, and was still working. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. I was still working at Work the Metal on the weekends, and I worked at BCBG, I worked at Dillard's. So I was like working everywhere.
Those form-fitted outfits.
Yes.
Tight dresses.
The discount was nice though. The
There
discount
you go.
was so nice.
I do it for the discount.
And that's really why I worked there. And so he when I got pregnant with my daughter Skylar, I was gonna leave work and just be a stay-at-home mom, and that wasn't gonna happen long term because I'm just not that person.
Right.
But he was like, hey, I know you have marketing experience. Why don't you manage my social media pages? And I was like, all right. So did it.
It's all in who you know.
It really is. It really is. But it's also important to maintain great relationships with people.
There you go.
I preach that all the time. Don't ever leave a job with any bad blood, because you never know someone working there.
Yes.
Someone that owns the place or whatever.
Yes.
They see you.
Yes.
And they'll say, you know what? I'm gonna call Kristy. I'm gonna call Valerie because I know that they're great. So you never know.
We're talkers.
Yes. Sorry.
Love that.
Right. I'll make this quick.
No.
So,
Make it long.
So I had ended up having my daughter, and I thought he was just talking. Some people are just like, "I'll come do this," and nothing ever happens.
Right.
Well, my daughter was 3 months old, and he was like, "Hey, what we talked about, give me a proposal." And I gave him a proposal, and I didn't know what social media like marketers were making. I had to Google it.
So that worked for you.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean,
good.
you
That's
don't
good.
use like obviously like I wasn't experienced, so I wouldn't
Right.
use obviously like
Right. So that's good for people to know about
Yeah.
how to like that. Like a lot of freelancers, stylists, photographers, hairstylists, makeup artists, like trying to like give a dollar amount to your skills.
yes.
So and you did that, and you didn't like. You don't feel like you lowballed yourself.
No, I think I obviously I had some marketing experience.
Right.
So I wouldn't even say I was like in the middle either. I was a little bit below. And then once I really became skilled and experienced at work the metal and other people came calling, I was able to really just, kind of say, this is my price. Like, this is what I'm worth.
Wow.
And so
what's the ultimate goal for Miss
me.
Valerie Terry in her career, especially doing social media
Yeah.
in the age of social media and having the marketing degree or the
Yeah.
marketing experience? Like, what do you feel like could be like your ultimate dream goal?
honestly, I love the space that I'm in now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like maybe 5 or 6 accounts. just-
Yeah, I've got a lot of accounts. I've got, right now I have like 10 accounts.
Wow.
And I would like to eventually hire someone to help because it does get, your creativity.
Like I need a third job.
Not like, I get so like shy. I'm so like, my husband's like, you need to own it. I'm like,
Shy.
"Alright." Yeah.
I don't think that we believe you. She said-
We need
I
receipts.
understand though. I do
Do you know
because
what I
I get
mean?
that way too. Even
you're
when I
talking-
try to sell myself,
Yes.
it's super super hard because sometimes you're like, I don't want to brag, but I have 3
Yes.
degrees.
Right. Like, or I have all of this experience, or I worked with
Yeah.
this person, and you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do need to toot your own horn because
beep. Be babe,
because you've worked hard to get to this place,
and spent a lot of money in student loans.
yes, yes.
So anyway,
So yeah, I think in 5 years, it's funny. I told my husband that I went to. Have you been to the Juice Bar in Middletown?
I have not.
Okay, so they have juice bars. Obviously, I think it's based out of Nashville, but they have a couple locations here. And like 6
bar.
years ago, when I was working at this marketing agency, I had this idea of like owning my own like juice spot. And it was weird. Obviously, I'm not like a juicer, but it like came to me like as, I don't know. Do you ever have like things just come?
I do all the time.
And they might not even
This
be.
is probably one of the things that came to
Right.
me, and I was like, I should talk to people
Right.
in my house.
in
And
your
I'm doing it.
beautiful home.
Oh, thank you.
But it just came to me. So I went to the juice bar and I saw this beautiful young African American woman working, and
Were you looking in the mirror?
No, I'm like, this is mine. This is mine. But I saw she was like busting her butt, and I found out later she owned the place. And she was back there working, and I was like, you know what? Like, this is amazing. Like, we all should be in here supporting her. First of all, she's a female entrepreneur, and
Tell us where it is.
it
Go
is in
support.
Middletown Juice Bar.
It's called Juice Bar
Yeah.
in Middletown.
Yes.
Go support it.
Please. Yes. And
There it
the
is.
juices are awesome. I like mine with a little ginger. But anyways, that's a whole nother situation. But it like made me proud, like seeing that. I was like, you know what? Like, now I found out she has a family and she's like just killing it. And I was like, that's what I want. I want to continue to just like, I want to work hard because that is important. But I want to keep the passion of like what I'm doing going, because sometimes
Yes.
that could leave.
And that means like what you're doing now. You are obviously married.
I'm
Hello.
married.
Good God. And then you have the baby, and you're
Uh-huh.
balancing it all.
Yeah.
Do you ever get overwhelmed?
Yes, all the time.
So you need to hire a nanny.
Well, we're working on that.
Make it happen. There's no need for this.
Right.
You work hard enough where
Yes.
you can afford certain things, and
Yes.
just do it.
Yes, and I just, I feel like, as women, like, and that's the thing I love, and if Jack, the owner of Work the Metal, would see this, he'd be like, oh, stop talking about me.
Hi, Jack.
But what I love most about him is that he empowers like all of the women that work for him.
That's beautiful.
He's like, you could do whatever, like take this and run with it, and let me give you this responsibility, because it gives us more confidence in
Absolutely.
ourselves.
Absolutely.
Especially when someone is giving you opportunities and things. And so,
and that's what I want to spread. I want
Yes.
to spread that whole vision of like you can do anything you want
Yes.
to do without any barriers,
Yes.
any restrictions. It doesn't matter if you have a family. It doesn't
Right.
matter if you have student loan debt. Like you can do
right.
it.
Or
There's
if you
a
don't have
way.
education.
If you don't have an education,
Yeah.
learn a trade.
Yes.
And there's ways to do it.
There are. And just being kind. Being kind. I cannot stress that enough. Being kind to people.
That's
it goes
true.
so far.
Yeah.
It goes so far.
That's true.
You
That's a
know?
really good message, actually.
Yes.
I feel like in my past, I was probably a little too sassy.
Yeah.
And then but I had a reason why I was so sassy. I
Why?
had some past issues.
Okay.
We're not gonna.
Oh, okay.
This is not Ayana. This is not Oprah.
This ain't even about me, girl, okay? You on here.
So I think a lot of times, like I came off a certain way,
Yeah.
and I'm totally not that person. But I
Right.
had to get over things.
Yes.
You know, it's life.
Yes.
And now I'm in a place where I know the people who are doing the things.
Yes.
And I want to share that, and I want to spread that,
Yes.
and I want people to
But you
feel
know,
empowered.
you should tell, like, you know, at another podcast or another video.
Blog.
You should, like, tell your story because you never know. Like, someone could be watching this and saying, I think I'm going through the same thing she's going through.
Yeah.
You know, I talk to so many of my girlfriends and they're like, you know, I've had to change and I've had to just become a different person because the person that I wasn't growing. I wasn't
Right.
like the
Absolutely.
woman that was in my head that I was envisioning, I wasn't becoming her because there were things that were stopping me
True.
from becoming her.
True.
And I mean, I've had to do, you know, I had growing up in southern Indiana, going to a mostly predominantly, you know, white middle school and high school, I had identity
Right here.
issues.
Right here.
You
Yeah.
know? And
But you
so-
don't even know that you're having these identity issues when you're in it.
Yes.
And I always felt like I had so many great, supportive white friends.
Yeah.
And they always were great for me. I wasn't like, these white girls like me, these black girls don't. I was just like, you're nice to me, I'm friends with you.
Right.
It didn't even matter. And so I realized later on that I did eventually have some deep-rooted issues,
Yeah.
but I didn't
You didn't
I
know
couldn't
at the time,
identify
yeah.
it. Yeah, I wasn't like first grade like I don't understand my blackness.
Right. It's so funny. Like, I think about, like, how I was when I was, like, in middle school and high school, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, I would never have hung out with her.
Right.
I
Like,
was-
who's this weirdo?
I was so, like, but I remember, like, well, looking back, I would say I would never hang out with her, but I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was just happy, like, being, like, a dorky, like, girl that played basketball or whatever. Like, I was
Aw.
just, like, weird.
So that's your advice now.
Yes, like, own it.
Own it.
Yes.
Can we just thank God for this crazy lighting right here?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like giving a little highlighter action.
I mean, I have a bronzer on, but do your work, God.
Okay.
I am here to serve
Well,
you.
look at the Lord. It is Sunday too. Thank you, Jesus.
But I really think that's important. Like, I love, and that's why I love you, I should say. Because I feel like every time I see you, every time I ask you to participate in something silly that I'm doing, you always stand up and you're there for me. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that because
Of
I feel
course.
like I can always lean on you for that.
Yeah.
And when you have stuff, you send a message out,
Yeah.
and I try to make it.
Thank you.
And you have a girlfriend that we both know, and she doesn't. I don't even think she knows that she knows me. But I did her makeup a long time ago.
Who?
The young lady who had the event at work in the Melwood Art Center. She's a blogger. And now we're gonna forget her name because I forgot her name.
Wait, is it Allie?
I think so.
Absolutely, Allie.
Yes.
Yes.
So la 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 la.
Because you were a makeup artist too, girl. Okay, look.
So I'm not a makeup artist. I just play one on television. No, people call me out all the time. Some guy called me out. Some real makeup artist called me out on my eyebrows once, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not a makeup artist, but I'm really trying."
Wait, what would they say?
I watched that.
People
He
are
said something
so-
about my face. People just love calling people out.
Yeah,
though.
they
I
do.
mean,
Well, you have to understand. You know, hurt people hurt people. So.
hurt people, and I will say I call people out on their fingernails and toes.
Yeah,
but
mine are bare.
and see, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what it is. Like when people don't pay attention to the little things like clipping their toenails or just moisturizing. Like I feel like that's not so much a call out, but that's like you not paying attention to yourself.
Right. Self-care
And that's
is so important.
Self-care is so important. And if your toenails aren't clipped and you have chip polish just because
Girl.
you haven't made
You
the
just
time
don't
for
care.
yourself, then that's, take
Yeah.
some time for yourself. Make you first.
Yes. And I think a lot of people, I know for a long time, I was not like giving myself self-care, especially when I had my daughter. I was just
giving it all to her.
focused. Yeah. I mean, in like a year and a half, I was like, I'm never going out. I'm staying home with my kid. Like, I'm just going to work. I'm just going to work, be with her, and just be in the house.
I think we have to do a part 2 of this because we are running out of time.
I'm sorry.
But we're gonna have to come back and maybe do a part 2 because this conversation is too good.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna cut it and then we're gonna be back.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.